Hey, Kowalsky here, and welcome back to another video. Now, in this video, compared to the last video, that was a complete disaster. The way that I played, that was very bad. But in this video, I kind of make a comeback. Like I begin to make a comeback, and so I regain my ambition and my strength as a chess player. And there are some games that you can make a draw against stronger opponents in, but against weaker opponents, like there are some games that you just gotta win, and these two are some of those games. So I mean, this is the third round, and my opponent is like 1100 rated, so much lower than me. And here I'm playing with the white pieces, and of course you know it, I play the move c4, knight f6 and g3. So here after he plays after d4, after he plays the move d6, I was like, okay, I mean I think I can get him. So I played the move knight f3, and here knight bd7, knight c3, castles, and here he played the move c5. So the thing is, I didn't really want to play the move e4 too early, because I don't know, maybe he was prepared in the King's Indian. I didn't really remember all my preparation, and I wanted to play something more fresh. So here I played the move e3, right? If he takes, then I can take back with the pawn. So he played the move a6, and now I played the move b3, rook b8, and now a4, right? Stopping b5. And the thing is, after b6, bishop b2, bishop b7, we reach this position in which, we have kind of like a symmetrical structure in a way, but these knights are different, and I have much more space in the center. Here he plays the move, here I played the move d5, just closing his bishop, right, the best move. But now he plays the move e6, which is a complete blunder. Like, this move is just a complete blunder. But why? Well, it's basically you're forced to take, right? F takes, and now queen takes d6, and just the pressure is too much. And here, if you try to play a move like knight e4, that doesn't work. First of all, because you can just take the pawn with check, and after something like rook f7, you can just take the knight, and if you take the bishop, now you just get like knight d6, right? You're forced to play a move like queen f6, but okay, now just takes, knight takes here, and or here if bishop takes a1, now simply rook d1, and if you take the knight, then I take your knight. And here, while you can go, for example, king g8 to defend the pawn, here simply knight g5, and you can exchange bishops. But now, I mean, I'm just up 2 pawns, and this is completely winning. Like, this was just a sample line, but with best defense, like with rook e8, I mean, it's still just horrible. Like, I can just play rook d1 and just have immense pressure. But in the game, I played the move e4, so e6, e4. What was going on through my mind? I don't know, because I spent on this move 4 minutes. Like, man, that was a free pawn I should have taken. But okay, e4, and here he takes the pawn. And here I was surprised, because now I realized the fact that he takes the bishop. And here he might be fine. Knight takes d6, and okay, he takes, I take, he takes, I take. We got the following position. Now the structure is completely symmetrical, and while I do have some activity, we have opposite color bishops, and I have to be careful not to get into an endgame too soon. So here he plays rook c7, of course, guarding the rook. Now rook d2, and here he plays the move queen e7, which is not the best move, because here after rook e1, knight f6, I'm actually +2. Why? Well, because I can go rook takes e7, and after this trade, just go rook d6, and you cannot guard this pawn. And here the thing is, if b5 happens, right, ab5, just rook c6. And like, if you try to defend the pawn, I just take this one. But somehow I couldn't convince myself to go for this. And here, I spent like maybe in total, maybe some 8 minutes on these 2 moves. And here I decide to play queen back to d3. Now allowing queen d7, but going for this, which is significantly worse than the other variation. And here I even blundered the whole game. This is a stupid mistake. This move should I just should not have played this move. I played this move instantly because I'm attacking the knight and I'm gonna freeze the rook, and then I'm gonna go in with the knight and I'm gonna win the pawn. No. What was I thinking about? That was pretty stupid, because here after rook d8, right, I cannot go for this because bishop f6, but somehow I didn't see that. I mean, this was possible. Like I froze. And here, if you try to take with the rook, of course you lose the knight. So after this sequence here, rook d1 was much better. Now just attacking the knight just like that. Maybe knight d5, maybe now rook d6, and you get in. But okay, here after rook e7, rook d8, I had to play the move h4, preparing knight to g5. So bishop f6, rook back, and now king f8. Here I decided to play knight g5, and here we trade. So here I started to gain a little bit of hope that maybe somehow, and here I trade the rooks, maybe somehow I can fool him. And here I played f4 to restrict the knight, because if the knight gets to e5, it's all over, because he gets to the queen side, and then the king can hold off these pawns. But here, f6, we trade, king f2, right? He goes here, and here I find a nice way to get my king to f3 without blocking in my bishop. Here you have to play the move h5 or h6, but he plays h5, and here I go bishop d5. Now if you take, now I'm completely winning, obviously, because if this move is just king e4, and you have no way to break on either side. Like you could try this, but just a b5, and now if c4, I mean just bc4. If a4, I mean king d3, and I catch the pawn, and that's it. But after bishop d5, you don't have to take. He went back king f8, and here's the moment where I was like, he offered me a draw in this position, by the way. Here I was like, bro, I mean you're 300 points lower rated than I am, bro. I'm not doing that. I'm playing for the win. f5, and this is just a massive blunder, because I'm allowing the move g5, and now my king has no access, and my king cannot hold off his king. For example, if I try to play a move like bishop b7, just sticking on this diagonal, just king e7, maybe bishop d5, maybe king d6, maybe okay, but then king e5. Okay, you say I stick on this diagonal, okay, but then he takes the pawn, right? So if I try to like defend the pawn here, for example, like this, he still comes here, and then okay, if I go here, I mean now simply knight e4, and I said it, if the knight enters, it's over, because now I can try to do this, but simply g4 check, king g2, and knight d2. I mean, you're just winning the pawn. You're completely winning in this position. Like, there's nothing more to be done here. Here, you could try to maybe do this, but you just lose a pawn, 2 pawns, now you're down 2 pawns, and you're lost. Like, this move f5 was, I mean, it was just losing. It was not even a gamble. I didn't even see g5, right? Because if I saw g5, then I would not have played this. But here, apparently, I played this move in 3 minutes, which is just, what was I thinking about? You shouldn't do that. But he went king g7, and luckily for me, like sometimes you get lucky, and now this is just completely winning. I'm just gonna click the forward arrow. This is just completely winning now, and I managed to make a queen, pick up some pawns, and here, I would have traded my queen for the pawn, picked this up, and here he resigned. So I got lucky the first win. Now let's see how the second win went. And with the first game, the third round, I was pretty disappointed because I didn't really get my chance to show what I had to show. But this round here, right here, I played the move c4. Again, I had double black, now I have double white. c4, e5, knight f3, and here, I'm prepared with all sorts of e4, knight d4, knight c6 or d5 lines. But here he just went knight c6, and g3, that's my prep. And here he went f5, and I started to get really hyped up because f5 is not the best approach. I just played the move d3, which is also not the best approach here, not the most provocative. Here there is a line with d4, That's kind of more aggressive. Or there's simply the move bishop g2, but I didn't really want to play bishop g2 because here I was like, okay, maybe he goes e4, and I don't really want to go knight g1. Maybe it's better, but I don't really want to go for that because here knight h4, you know, you just get d6, and now you're forced to go back bishop f1 because g5 you gotta go knight g2, right? So it's very strange, very, I mean, complicated, and I didn't want that. I just went d3 because now this prevents e4, so I just go bishop g2, knight f6, castles, castles, +1 after 6 moves. If and only if I play this, 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 and this, and this, and this. This is +1.5. I'm up nothing, but I have the bishop pair, and I have some ideas of development. But here I saw this idea, but I just went a3, the second best move, right? Because I was like, yeah, okay, you can do that, but I don't really want to do that, you know. a5, and now again this move is possible, but again I decline it. And here, you know, after d6, I just went bishop g5 with a plan in mind to go knight d5, planting my knight in. And now here with this move, he allows me to play e3. I think he was preparing e4, but if you play e4 now, I just take your pawn, let's say rook takes, and now I think I can even play, no, I cannot play this move, just rook b1. Rook b1 is the best move because it just prepares the move b4. And that's it. The knight's gonna be kicked out, bishop's gonna be kicked out, knight's gonna be kicked out, knight d2 also a possibility, also knight h4 is a possibility if you want to attack the rook. And you know, you can go with the rook back, but I mean queen h5, and the attack is big. But he didn't play this move, he played knight back to e7, but still d4 now, e4, e4, and he goes back. I forced him back, and I saw this idea, knight f4, rook to f6, and now b4. b4 might not be the best move, but you have to play g5, which is not an easy move to play. He played d5, and I play c5. Now his bishop is trash, so he's gonna try to reactivate, and now I play knight e5, bishop b8, and here I saw the move b5 and the fact that, you know, it was crushing, because b5 and now let's say g5, now just knight h5, and this variation happened, but in a much worse way compared to how it could have been happening. The thing is, rook e1 now, and here this move kind of gives back a little bit of an advantage because of a takes b4, and here I have to be careful not to you know, blunder anything here. g5, I cannot do the same thing that I would have done because you know, I don't have as many pieces and I don't have this pressure anymore. So after this move rook e1 he could have taken, but he plays g5, and now very important move f4 blunders the game. Why? Because now again a takes b4, rook e1, queen a1, but now queen e8, and now I'm not in time to go back because of the move g4. So here I would have to just play the move knight d3, right, attacking this knight if he takes the knight. So if queen f7, maybe now b5 again, but now the pawn's already defended, so it's much worse. But okay, after f4 again I kind of get a little bit lucky. He takes the knight, and now I take, and from here on out it's pretty much smooth sailing, like bishop e6, like I take, and now I'm up a pawn. And in this position, like, yeah, maybe he could have tried to take the pawn here, but it's not the same, because here I don't have to take, and I actually calculated that knight f6, and now if he takes, right, I don't get queen g4, but I get g4, and now if knight g8, I can get f5, and I calculated all of this, and I was like, okay, I'm winning, yeah, because now if takes, okay, if rook takes, okay, I'm just gonna take the bishop. But not with the rook, with the pawn. Apparently taking with the rook is not good enough, because being up a bishop is not good enough because of the pawn. Okay, I mean, during the game I calculated rook takes, but now coming to analyze with an engine, pawn takes is much better. But maybe I would have found that during the game. Okay, but after knight takes g4, right, he played this move knight f5, and now, I mean, I played this move king f2, which kind of allows him to play the move h5. And h5, I mean knight f6, I would have played knight f6 anyway, so it's not really a big difference because I played knight f6 anyway, giving him some advantage. And now I'm really proud of this move sequence, like rook e4, takes, and now rook e5, like just 2 rook moves in a row, but those were necessary to stop the infiltration squares for the queen. And now he goes rook d8, and here simply after this move, now the game is completely over, just g4. He tries rook d4, but I just take, bishop takes, and here I'm winning with every single move, but I just decide to take and go queen g1. That was the simplest approach. Here apparently queen h5 is a draw, but because of the move rook takes, and now after rook takes he gets the queen. This would have been very interesting to play actually, but okay, I mean, you know, maybe it would have taken me some much more time to win that one. If I could have won it at all, but now I'm just gonna click the forward arrow. Here I missed mate in 5. Here apparently king g3 is mate in 5 because okay, like this is the mate. I'm gonna show you rook h4, and now apparently just rook e1. And here, you know, if you try to do this, rook e5 is mate, so you have to check me, takes, and now a4, and now this is mate. Okay, but I didn't see that. I played king e3 instead of g3, and I just went gobbling the pawns. Here apparently I had mate in 8, mate in 5 again, king f3, mate in 7, mate in 6, mate in 12, and here I just decided to push the pawn, mate in 8, mate in 6, mate in 5, and now I saw the mate. He played rook a1, but now rook b2 check, king h1, and I finished a nice game with mate. This opponent was also about the same rating as the last opponent, but he played a little bit worse. But with this game I was pretty proud. Like I was feeling pretty good about this game, and you know, I'm glad I could win a game and you know, prove to myself that I can do that. So you know, I'm just proud of these games, and I really played some nice chess. So yeah, this was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Kowalsky out.